my squad, some people think that watching trains is pretty boring. But every now and then, you get those outings that have a little bit of energy to them, a little bit of spice, if you will. And I fortunately had a sequence of these events happen back to back.
Incredible.
Ironically, contrary to the title, my sequence of action-packed events started off very boring. I was actually here in Buford to drop off something for a friend, and I missed Amtrak on the way here. And then I had to wait 3 hours. Yes, 3 hours for something to be lined down south. This something being a Norfolk Southern 45R that was lined out of Gainesville that I was expecting to have the Onion Pacific Heritage unit on it. Heritage unit in quotes. It's the most useless unit on Heritage units, bro. What is this? And unfortunately for me, it was not on there. What? Apparently it went up on 24X that morning. Bruh. So I had really just sat here, not necessarily wasting my life because I was doing editing, for 3 hours, all for a trio of GEs.
What is wrong with you?
But hey, train is train. And fortunately, after my wait, I finally saw headlights rounding the curve as 45R continues down south towards Atlanta. The line was pretty dead, so as for this day, this would be my one and only train that I actually catch on film. Fortunately, however, the rails always have some activity somewhere, and throughout the course of the week, I was just randomly seeing trains in different spots, including this one through Doraville, a local working one of the industries that's in the areas, with a nice pair of ST40-2s on it. It's nice seeing locals, especially locals that I know I never would have seen had I not been in this area, but I wanted mainland action. So the very next day, I found myself in Buford, Georgia with the main man, That Model Guy, expecting to have a very chill outing, and boy was I mistaken, because even our very first train came by a jump scare.
What do you mean by that?
We were driving down the road, and all we hear is
Norfolk Southern, milepost.
So we literally booked it to the nearest parking spot, raced to the tracks. I didn't even get to set my focus right on my camcorder before another southbound grain train, I believe this was 51G, coming out of Baldwin, Georgia, with another boring pair of GEs, but at least a friendly crew. We'll take those. This southbound grid would not be the only thing in the area. In fact, it was actually stopping just a few miles down the road because there was a 282 that had come up north out of Inman Yard that was approaching us. And me and That Model Guy knew that it was nearby, but I still needed to get some gas. So I went down the street to this gas station, and oh my goodness was this pump selling. Usually, for those of you who drive, you know that the pump locks so that you can just sit in your car, wait for it to automatically unlock, and then just take out the pump and leave, right? Bro, this pump was not locking to save my life, bro.
You serve zero purpose.
So I had to manually hold it. And to make matters worse, the actual trigger on the pump was broken, bro. So I had to finesse it in a certain position, and the car was literally fueling at half speed, bro.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Which means it took me like 3 minutes longer than it should have to pump this car. And what do you think I heard once the fueling ended?
It's popping.
Ah, yes, we just can't have any chill moments.
Nope.
So it was more racing back to the tracks as 282 suddenly appears over the horizon and races as it continues up towards North Carolina. Unknown to me and that moto guide was that there was one more train coming. We happened to drive by the Sugar Hill Intermediates and see that one of the signals was completely red, which meant that there was something lined on the tracks. We didn't know what it was though. We assumed that it was probably going to be P81 coming out of Gainesville because it was a Saturday and this was around its time it usually comes out. So we were going to head back down to Walters to try to catch it. Until, what do you think we heard?
Oh my God.
We just can't have any peace in these parts, can we?
Nope.
In the exact same fashion as that southbound grain train, P81 cleared the defect detector and we immediately had to turn around. Now, some of y'all may be thinking, you know, an SD40-2 and a -9, that's not really that special, and it's running light. So maybe we should just cut our losses and go home. You thought wrong.
Wow.
One, this was gonna be the last train that was gonna be running through here for at least 2 hours. And two, we're not late. So, with the locomotives past us, we immediately booked it down the street for this impromptu chase of P81 to begin.
No, he's still moving.
How you get slowing down here?
Oh, he did slow down. He might.
slow
I
down.
wonder if he's gonna do the
I
thing.
think it might turn around and pick up.
Beat it to the crossing. Wait, we can beat it. The one spot needs it. You know that? And then we can beat it to 20. Don't be this dude. Look at those gates, won't you, Nathan? Another fumble.
Hello there.
This is so funny. We might actually get it. We might actually get it. No way. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Is it from us? Hold on. There's another paper. Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment, my friends. Never a dull moment. And this trend of excitement would only continue because I went trackside one evening in January of 2024. Guys, we finally made it to 2024.
Sensational.
You know, it only took me 5 months, but yay, we're here.
This guy stinks!
Anyways, I'd come here just on a ride, just to get out of the house with some of my family. And as soon as we got here, southbound P72 went by us. And wouldn't you believe it, Norfolk Southern P11 literally ran right behind it. And since the traffic was clear, I'm thinking, okay, we're in kind of good conditions for a pace. There was only one problem. Oh, the old bogus focus demon. It's been a while since this thing has played me, but since the last time I used my camera, I was on automatic focus, taking this thing out in the night. Oh yeah, it was tragic. It was very tragic. And unfortunately for me, the locomotives were passing by right by us in pristine pacing condition, and here my camera was not focusing.
You are so sorry.
I was truthfully doing everything in my power to get this camcorder to focus.
Please!
So finally it did. Oh my lord, thank goodness. And finally, we can get a clear picture of what we're right next to. A pair of SD60Es, pretty common on this train, leading a cut of manifest and auto racks off from the Commerce branch down towards their final destination of East Point, Georgia. B11 was actually stopping here because Norfolk Southern 50G was coming up north towards Baldwin, Georgia. Unfortunately, it was late and I didn't know where this train was, and honestly, it only had a trio of Gs on it, so I wasn't really stressed about it, and I decided to just cut my losses here and go home. At least please I was able to salvage some pacing action. I got some decent footage to start off the year.
Bruh.
And finally, we get to the last sequence of never dull moments. And this was supposed to be a calm day, you know? I really just went to Buford blind. I had no idea what was going on anywhere, and to be honest, I didn't see a single train this day. I was just chilling at Tannery Row, getting some homework and editing done. And so all of a sudden, I heard a fire truck siren go by. And you know, that's not a very wild thing to hear every now and then. Until I turned around and I saw what they were going for.
What?
Off in the distance, a pillar of smoke was rising from the tree line. And so, in my curiosity, I went over to see what was going on. At this point, they had blocked off the road right where the curve is, but I could still see that there was a building on fire. So I crossed the tracks to see what look I could get, to see that the pillar of smoke had only gotten thicker, as now a line of traffic was starting to form near the intersection. First responders had arrived on the scene at this point, and they had blocked out the road so you could see people turning around. But as we look over to the tracks, we could see a blaze that threatens to go out of control, burning strongly right by the rails. To this day, I still don't know what caused the fire. All that I did see was that a building had definitely gone up in flames, and that unfortunately, this building was surrounded by trees, giving a lot of material for the blaze to just keep growing. And unfortunately for the first responders, it would appear that sparks from the blaze had crossed the street and had started yet another brush fire, consuming dead grass that laid hundreds of yards away from the original blaze. As more EMS responded and the road closures continued to extend, I took it upon myself to leave and just let them do whatever they needed to do. There was no need for me to risk anything, and there was really no need for me to stay for my original purpose, because I knew that with a blaze like this, the railroad had definitely been notified and that no trains were going to be running for a long time. Eventually, the police completely blocked off the road, so I wasn't even going to be able to leave out through that way, and I just decided to call it quits. No trains on this train journey, but still an unforgettable outing regardless. And good job on the first responders for eventually extinguishing the blaze. If anyone has more info on this incident, I'd love to know. And thus, our sequence of never dull moments comes to an end. Until next time, my friends, God bless. I will see you soon, out on the hot iron.